Good afternoon, everyone. As Allison mentioned, my name is Ricardo Everson. I am a customer success engineer. I've been with ShareFile for around 7 years. I've spent time with support and currently with the adoption team. And yeah, I love working for the company. I love the diversity, and we hope that you guys walk away with some good resources today.
And I'm Cord. I've been with ShareFile for about 5 years now. And I also came up with the support organization before joining our adoption team.
We understand the commitment it takes for you all to, attend these, take time out of your day to attend webinars. So we want to say thank you, and we're really appreciative. Go over how to edit and navigate the dashboard. We'll take a look at creating some folders. We're going to go through uploading some items into a folder, show you how to download from that folder. Once the items are in there, we'll take a look at how to create a share link or a send link. We'll also take a look at creating a request link. And we're going to touch basis on a new feature that went live a couple of weeks ago called Accelerated Agreements. This is a new client onboarding process that's very seamless, so we'll take a look at that. And lastly, we'll show you where to download desktop applications, and here we are. So once you log into ShareFile, this is usually the place where you will land. This is, again, the dashboard. It's a generic area that hosts a lot of different functionality. As you can see to our right, we have shortcuts. So as I mentioned earlier, sharing files and requesting files. This will be a convenient way to access that type of activity. We also have an area where you're creating new users, an area where it's taking you into your personal folders and your shared folders. You can access your favorites from here, and of course, start some feedback and approvals and send for signature. To the left is recent files. This will list any file that you've previously touched prior to your login. So again, ease of access. If you are working with the document consistently, you'll probably see it in this list here where you can just click right on it and navigate straight to that file. Towards the bottom, we have tutorials. Like we're doing today, there's smaller type of webinars where it allows you to view some videos of certain knowledge areas or knowledge points. Right here, we're starting with basics. But as you see in the drop-down list, you can go directly to getting started. If you're more of an advanced user, you can navigate to advanced, and then there's one strictly dedicated to the desktop applications we'll be showing you later. You can edit this area. If you go to the top right and click on Edit Dashboard, it will allow you to choose what type of tiles you want to see. I currently have 3 of the 4 showing, but if I were to toggle on favorites and then click save, it's going to show my favorites area here. I only have 1 folder in that area, but if I had other documents starred for favorites, I would see them in this list as well. So that's the basis of the dashboard. You can add a profile picture, as you've seen here, that will show up in this area right here where you see my initials. But again, this is an area for ease of access and just navigating around the platform a little bit more easier. At this point, I'm going to toss it over to Cord so he could show you getting started with creating folders.
All right. So once you have logged into your account, you'll start at your dashboard here. But when you're ready to create folders and keep yourself organized here, if you just come over to the left, you'll have your folders section. And you'll see 2 main options in here. The first is going to be your personal folders. This is going to be unique to your user, and that's where you're going to keep a number of different files, mainly what you're going to be working on personally. Maybe you're working on drafts for projects or something like that, but you'll want to keep those in your personal folder section, and you can create your own folders in here. You just come over to the blue circle here. You can do create a folder. And generally, you're not going to want to share stuff out of this too frequently. Once you're ready to share items, you can move them to your shared folders. And in here, you may not have the ability to create a folder directly at the root level. That may be disabled by your admins. What they've likely done is added you to a department folder or something like that, or some sort of project folder, and you'll be able to create your folders in there. So if we come in here, As you can see, I do have the permission here as I'm logged in as an admin, so I could create additional root folders, but we'll go into this clients folder here. And what I can do now is I just come over to the blue circle and click create folder. It's going to ask me for a name for this folder. So I can come in here and call this Greg demo. And then if I want to give it a description, go into more details about it, you can do that as well. Then if you want to add people to this folder, you can do that. So if you're creating a client folder, you may want to add people to that folder and give them permissions and do it all in one step. So I'll go ahead and do create folder. It's going to immediately take me into that folder. So now I can create, or I can download and upload files if I want. If I want to create additional folders, again, you can keep doing that. One thing to note on folders is their permissions. When you create a folder, it's going to inherit the folder permissions from the parent folder. So if we come back up here to client folders and go to the people tab, we can see me and the super user group are the only people on this folder. And then when I come down here, it's going to be the exact same. If I added another user to this folder, so go ahead, add another user here. We'll add John. Hit apply. John's now in this folder. So now if I come in here and create another folder, it's going to immediately inherit those permissions and John will be on this folder. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're creating folders, that you make sure you don't share information to users who are not supposed to. Just be aware of who has access to what folders. Now that we have this folder, we can go ahead and start uploading files to it. 1 second. So to upload a file, all you have to do is come over here to upload, and it'll bring up this drag files here. So if you want to, you could drag them from your file explorer directly to this dialog window, or you can click browse files. This will bring up your file explorer here, and you can choose a file, hit upload. It'll list all the files you're going to upload. And once the files are here, then you need to actually click the upload button and it'll start the upload process. If you want, you can also directly drag and drop files from your file explorer to this window. You don't have to go to the upload option. But if you're doing a bunch of files from different places, it might make more sense to do the upload and then choose all those files. So that's how we upload the file. To download the file, all you have to do is click the checkbox next to it, and you'll get all these options here so you can download the file. You can also right-click on any of these, and you'll get the same options. But if I wanted to do this file in this folder, you could double checkbox both of them, and then all you have to do is click download. So if we click download, there we go, it's downloaded. So you can open it from wherever. If you download multiple files, it will put them into a zip folder, so you'll have to then unzip them from that. But that's how to do that. Now let's say I wanted to request a file. What you can do here is come into the blue circle again and choose request files. So what this will do is let me either send an email to a specific person or get a download link if I wanted to put it in my own email, or send it through like a chat program or something. And this will request a file to be uploaded from whoever I share this link with. So once they upload it, it'll appear in this folder. So we'll just do get a link this time. And then you have the options here for access. So we'll come in here, we'll do name and email required. If you want, you can also do a sign-in required, which will be the most secure option. It's going to require the user to set up a username and password. And then we're only going to let this last for a week. You can set this expiration out to up to a year or to never expire. If you're putting a request files link in your email address, for instance, you may want to put that as to never expire. That way you don't have to redo your email signature link every year or 2 weeks or however long you end up setting it for. And then generally on a request link, you want to be notified when files are uploaded to it. That way you know when your client has sent you those files that you're requesting from them. So we'll go ahead and hit save. And now we have our link here, so I can just hit copy. And then I'll just open a new tab. We'll paste that in there. So this is what it'll look like when your client opens it if you've done name and email. If you've requested a login, they will be prompted to, if it's the first time you've sent them something, they should be prompted to set up a login. If they have already logged in before, it'll just prompt them for their email and password. So we'll just put some information in there and hit continue. And now I can either, again, drag files here, the same as we did the upload, or I can do the browse files. So we'll just upload this again. You'll want to make sure after they put all the files in here, they do click that upload button and that they get this uploaded confirmation. Sometimes people just drag the files here and think it's done, and then everybody's wondering where the files are at. But make sure this upload button does need to be pressed after the list of files are put in here. All right, so now that we have confirmed it's uploaded, if we come back over to our tab here and refresh our folder, now we see we have that file in here. So what I can also do, now let's say I wanted to share this file out to somebody else. Same thing, I can either come to the blue check here, or I can do the share here. And it's going to be similar to the request files. Again, I can either do a link or send by email. And I can also add additional items. So if I wanted to add other files from elsewhere in ShareFile, I can come in here and do that. And then I'll have multiple files. You can also upload additional files from your computer or other device. So we're going to share this. So I'm going to do, now let's do another get a link. And then again, so people with this option can download or view. Sometimes your account may have the view options enabled, which won't let them download the file, but it will let them view it, and it may have a watermark enabled. So those are some options you could have on your account. Again, I'm going to keep this to anyone name and email, especially when sending out a share link with downloadable files. I would recommend considering sign-in required, especially if there's some kind of personal identifying information in those files you're sharing. If you're just sending out a newsletter or something, you may want to just do anonymous or name and email. But name and email is mainly for just tracking. It's not a security feature. So if you want the most security is to use sign-in required here. But for this, I'm going to keep it to name and email. Again, I'm going to keep access expires. We'll just keep it on a week, but you could set that to a month, a day, however long is acceptable for your organization. And again, here, if I set it to view, I could have the watermark added to it as well. And that will put a watermark on it so you know who it came from. Usually the watermark will have things like their email address or their name or maybe their IP address, depending on how you've set that up. And you can also be notified when that is accessed. So if you want to know when that file is downloaded, you can keep track of that as well. So go ahead and hit save here. Again, just copy the link, and then I come back over to this tab, paste it in there. And there we go. It's going to again ask for name, email. Hit continue. And now we can download the files. I can either select individually and download, or I can download multiples. I can also preview them from here, as you saw before I clicked off of it. And if you want to, if there's a ton of files in here, they can always do select all and then download. And again, if they download in bulk, it's going to put them in a zip file. So they'll have to open that and unzip them once they get those files. All right, and I think it is back over to Ricardo now.
All right, yes, thanks, Cord.
No problem. Oh, stop share. All right, should be good.
All right, so I'm gonna share again, and we're gonna go into accelerated agreements. Okay, so to get to this area, you have to go on your left-hand side here, and as you go down from dashboard, you will click on people. Now this, unfortunately cannot be accessed through the dashboard itself. It's strictly through people. And once you have people open, you will go down to prospective clients, and then you're taking here. At this point, you need to add some demographics for the user you want to become a client user on your account, or the user you want to send that accelerated agreement to. And to begin that, we'll click on Add Prospect, and you begin entering first name and last name, email address. I found out a nice little trick from Ford. I'm just going to send this to myself. And a company name. And those are the only fields that are required. You can add the other fields, but anything asterisk in red are fields you will definitely need to enter. So I'm going to go through here and make sure I have everything right. Okay. And once you've done that, you'll click Add. And now you see that user in your list to be set up for an agreement. So at this point, I would select the user and then click on Send Client Agreement. Now, accelerated agreements are really only going to be used for clients you need to have an agreement for before joining your account. There is a traditional way to create client users. I'll show you that after this, but this is a feature that's not really going to be on all the accounts. It's only going to be on premium accounts and above. So if you don't see that or see this area on your account, it's probably because it's not, it doesn't meet the standard to have it for your instance. So once you have done this, you could do one or two things. You can select a template that's already been made, or you can create a template of your own. I'm going to click on Create a Template. And then I'm going to be directed to an area where I can choose a template that I've already preset for this occasion. Give it some time here. There we go. I'm going to choose Upload a File. It's going to open up my local directory, and I'm going to select this accelerated agreement template here. And then click Open. And now my document's ready for preparation. This feature is really cool because it's doing two things really. It's making it a little bit easier for you to start that client onboard process. It's also providing increased security through our e-signature verification here. The two fields I'm going to add are a signature field and a date field. So once I send this to the user, I need them to sign it. They're being welcome to my account, and then I need them to date it. There's some other data fields that are important as well. If my document were to have text fields in it, whatever area I filled out during that add prospect process will be merged into the data fields I choose to place on this document. For example, I put in a first name and a last name. So if I were to select that for this document and I had text fields on this document, the demo part and the user part will automatically show up here during my preparation process. And that goes for suffix, email. We did see an area for phone during the add prospect process. We also saw an area for company where I put in ShareFile. Again, those will automatically show in this document. I have a very basic document for today's demo, so that's why we're not seeing it here, but I did want to let you guys know that and make you aware of that. So we're going to move forward and click on Create Template. It's going to allow me to preview it, make sure I have everything prepared correctly. Give it some time here to show up. There we go. My fields look good. I'm going to move forward with clicking Send if things are looking good, but if they are not, I can go back and change the template here. But we're going to move forward and click Send. And now that agreement has been sent to my demo user. If you wanted to just create a client user who who does not need an agreement, to work with your account, you can simply go to Browse Clients. You'll need to add some client information. An email address. And then during step 2, you're going to have a little bit different process than the prospective clients. This is allowing you to choose folders that are already associated with your account to allow this user to work out of. If I wanted to assign a folder, I would click here. It's going to give me my folder tree to choose from, and I could simply put a folder or select a folder for them to be assigned to and work out of. Next, it's going to allow me to set my permissions. At this point, by default, this user can only view, download, and upload. If I wanted them to receive upload alerts or notifications from things they are uploading, I could select that. If I wanted them to receive notifications of things that are being downloaded from the folder, whether they do it or not, I could select that as well. And then the last option is delete, or delete comes with that download alert by default, but delete is more of an admin permission. So just be wary of those permissions. If you want very minimal access for that client user, I would stick with the default settings of view, download, and upload. We'll cancel out of here for now. Another area I could do is add a distribution group. They could be part of a previously created distribution group. I only have one test here, but you can have more than one distribution group. So you'll see them in a list right here, and it'll allow you to select from that list. Cancel out, or I could copy folder access. If I've already created a user and I know this particular user is going to have the same type of access as that previously created user, I could come here and choose them from a drop-down or the address book here, choose any user, and those permissions will be copied to the newly created user. You have your personal address book to choose from. You also have your shared address book to choose from. But they're pretty much going to host the same type of data or same type of user information. So that is the traditional way to create a client user. We also have the Browse Employees area. Browse Employees, again, are going to have more of those higher tier permissions when working with folders. All employee users will actually see everything that is being placed in the shared folders directory. Your client users are only going to see not necessarily a personal folders area, but they're only going to see a shared folders area and only have a folder listed directly to them. So keep that in mind. Your employee users have access to all folders created within these shared folders. Your client users will only have access to what you've given them permission to access. All righty. Let's go back and take a look and see if that email came through. There we go. So once I've sent the agreement, the user will receive an email like this. We'll open it up. They have a review and sign document. So they would click this area to open up that agreement. And then they're going to be given a brief tutorial on how to complete the document. And at this point, it's very simple for this user. All they need to do is sign and date. So click in the signature box. I can choose to type my signature or draw it. To toggle between the two, you just come down here. I'm going to type and click apply. And then put in today's date. And I know I've filled all the boxes allocated for this document because I have a green dot right here indicating that I'm complete. If I wanted to save my progress, if I had more fields to fill in and just wanted to take a break and filling that, I would click on Save Progress. The more options we have here, you can just decline the document. If you do not want to, or do not want to fill it out for whatever reason, just click decline and that'll go back to the sender. At this point, we're going to move forward with submitting the signature. So we'll click on submit signature, submit, and my document has been completed. So as the recipient or the new client user, there are some things I can do from this area. I can download the original document without the signatures. I can download the completed document with signatures and date. I can download a signature certificate, which looks like this. As you scroll down, this is the verification piece I mentioned earlier as far as security. So this indicates this document has been completed successfully. We've got a reference number tied to this document. So if there were any technical issues you were having with the document, when you call into support, this reference number is going to be extremely important of giving this to support so they can begin working and assisting you as best they can. Or you can get a combination of the both. It's going to have the completed document and the verification certificate, I'm sorry, all in one. Now there's some things that are happening for the sender on their end. What's going to take place is that user now is going to be part of what's known as a client folder. And when I refresh here, we should see client folder showing up in the shared folders area. And there it is. And when I open up this client folder or client folders, I have a folder dedicated solely for my demo user. So when my demo user now logs into their web app instance, this is the only folder they're going to see within the shared folders area, indicating that we can work back and forth, send documents back and forth, and they can access data I'm sharing with them and vice versa. So that is prospective clients or accelerated agreements. Again, our knowledge base article will be in the follow-up email. The last thing I did want to show is where to download desktop applications. And to do that, you're going to go to the far right, top right, and click on apps. And you can access numerous tools here. Depending on the type of machine that you're using, that's what will be listed first. Because I'm on a PC, I'm seeing Windows at the top. But if I happen to be in a Mac environment, I would see apps for Mac listed at the top. But the tools are very similar no matter what environment you're in. They have the same functionality and the same goals as far as accessing and sharing data. Our first tool we're seeing here is Citrix Files from Windows. We have a plugin for Outlook, which ties in your ShareFile account via Outlook, keeping you from having to go back and forth from the web app to Outlook if you're needing to share data. As we scroll down, we have some more power tools. These are some more of our legacy tools. Print to ShareFile sort of acts the same as, or can act the same as our Citrix Files from Windows tool, but basically scans a document and puts it into your ShareFile accounts. And then the ShareFile for Gmail acts a lot like the Outlook plugin, whereas it ties your ShareFile account to Gmail, to Google, if you're using Google Workspace or anything like that. Our mobile application here, we have for both Android and Apple environments. And then lastly, we have some third-party integrations. Their Microsoft Office Online integration and Zapier if you're using some tax software.